second Christmas na natin ngayong pandemic. And how are you all doing? So, first, congratulations sa lahat na nandito pa. I know marami tayong pinagdaanan the last 2 years and coming next year nga, mag-year 3 na tayo ngayon. So, merong ng vaccine and of course, marami na ring emerging na gamot when it comes to countering the effects of the virus, of the pandemic. Pero I think it's much better for us to really look into our health at kung ano ba yung mga bagay na pwede natin gawin to improve our health. Ngayong gabi, mag-wrap ako ng mga gifts for the family and friends. At habang nag-gift wrapping tayo, pag-uusapan natin yung mga learnings natin this pandemic. Hello sa mga gising pa. Maraming salamat for still being there. So, kwentuhan lang. No pressure. Hello sa inyong lahat. Kasi marami ngayon, when it comes to this pandemic, kahit pa nakita natin how good health can really help survive yung mga tao, pero marami pa rin resistance when it comes to improving their lifestyle. Mas gugustuhin pa nilang uminom na lang ng gamot kaysa sa magbago nga ng lifestyle. But I think if you really want to sustain life sa magandang paraan, you really have to look into your lifestyle. And actually, hindi naman natin sinasabing mahirap talaga yung kailangan gawin o drastic. Even simple practices to improve our way of eating, actually malaking bagay na yon. So, isa-isahin natin kung ano yung mga simple things that we can do para maging healthy nga tayo. So, when it comes to health naman, ano ba yung definition ng healthy na pangangatawan? So, first, dapat wala kayong nararamdamang sakit. So, walang masakit sa katawan because if merong masakit, that's actually an indication of inflammation. And if ever naman walang sakit pero nanghihina, that is still a cause of worry. Kasi dapat meron tayong vitality, meron tayong strength. Dapat kaya natin gawin yung mga tawag nating ADL or Activities of Daily Living. Yun yung mga shortcut namin. Alam nyo kasi yung mga doktor, mahilig yan sa shortcut. At pagod na pagod kaming magsulat. Kaya maraming doktor yung kanilang handwriting is hindi talaga ganun kaganda. And it's not because pangit talaga yung handwriting ng doktor. Actually, hindi naman. Marami akong kilala na sobrang ganda ng handwriting. Kaya nga lang, kapag yung isang bagay, paulit-ulit mong nila sinusulat, like in a day, 20 times mo siyang sinusulat, nakakaumay din yon and nakakapagod. Kaya minsan, kapag pang last patient ka na, pang 10 patients ka na, pang 20 patients ka na, so expected, hindi na talaga maganda yung pagkakasulat ng doktor ninyo kasi pagod na yan. But, kapag morning pa, if kayo pa yung first, usually maganda pa. And this is because, yun nga, paulit-ulit lang yung mga sinasabi namin. And of course, it's not just about us giving you medications. Kasi yung medications, hindi yan sustainable in the long run. Next video natin, kapag naka-time ako ng meron akong proper time, pag-uusapan natin about medications and how I am no longer dependent on medications for the longest time. So, marami tayong i-gift wrap. One down. Okay? So, hindi nga kailangang mahirap yung gawin or drastic yung ating gagawing lifestyle change. First, elimination diet. Ano yung elimination? Kahit yung mga simple lang para sa mga nandito, especially sa mga graduates natin sa ating LCF Masterclass and ongoing Masterclass, sila Coach Den, sila, hi Coach Gibo, Kuya Gibo, hello po, maraming salamat for being here. Ano ba yung mga major learnings ninyo? Kindly share it in the comments para makita ng iba na bago pa lang. So, major learnings, I think, no, for us all, although before pandemic, yun na yung major learning ko, but I still want to reiterate yung removal of carbs and sugar talaga. Kasi nga, for the longest time, akala natin yung taba lang yung masama. Fats are the bad ones. Fats are the culprit talaga. Pero now, nakita natin na hindi pala yun ganun katotoo. In fact, yung taba, especially taba na galing sa animal meat products, is actually not that bad as long as hindi ito kasabay ng ano, ng carbs. So ano yung usual carbs, especially on day-to-day basis sa mga Pinoy? Kanin. So, kanin, tinapay, pandesal, kamote, banana, saging, mga prutas, especially in Mindanao, no, and in provinces here in Visayas, na yung mga prutas ay talaga nga namang sobrang mura and available everywhere. At yun nga, ang sinasabi, it's part of nature, kaya dapat kainin natin ng maramihan. But actually, hindi natin kailangan kainin ng marami yun. Kasi hindi naman talaga natural for us to have that much abundance of fruits, and too much fruits parati na tayong nasa harvest season. At yung harvest season, yun yung nakakapagpataba sa atin. Alam niyo na yung, ano, di ba, kahit nga yung animals in the wild, meron talaga silang way para maging healthy during times of winter season o tag-ulan. Kaya nag-iimbak sila ng pagkain. But tayo, ang way natin sa pag-iimbak is through our fats. Yung taba natin sa katawan. So, kung meron ka ng taba sa katawan, actually, ibig sabihin, meron ka ng capacity o kakayahan para mag-ayuno, para mag-fasting. Kapag meron ka ng taba sa katawan, yung katawan mo, ready na mag-ayuno or mag-fast. So, since hindi naman kayo kaganon ka naghihirap, or kung affected kayo by this typhoon and this pandemic at medyo mahirap ang buhay, it's actually a good opportunity to start fasting. Hindi yung madedepress kayo na wala kayong kinakain, ha? But it's a deliberate decision. So, yung deliberate decision na yan is for you to control your eating mindfully. So, conscious decision. Hindi lang basta sabihin mo lang na force ka lang ng panahon. Because kung hindi mo ginustong mag-ayuno at hindi ka kumakain, that is starvation. At yun yung nakakabaliw. Yung nakakabaliw is yun yung pagkain na hindi ka nakakakain kahit gusto mong kumain. But when it comes to fasting, kaming nag-aayuno regularly, kumakain lang ng once a day o di kaya twice a day, it is actually more empowering. Ibig sabihin, it's good for mental health knowing na ikaw mismo yung nagde-decide na hindi ka kakain because you know na that is good for your health. So, kami usually 1 meal a day lang, at most 2 meals a day. Especially ngayong holidays. So, pangalawang gift na tayo. Tingnan natin kung ilan yung mauubos natin. So, the freedom from guilt. Kasi noon, kapag merong lechon, kapag merong baka, o kahit nga manok nga, yung iba, nagigilty na kapag kumakain sila ng ganon. But now, we know na hindi ka kailangan mag-guilty. It's because hindi naman talaga sila masama. As long as wala ngang kapares ng mga foods that are highly inflammatory. So, avoiding carbs, avoiding sugar, yung mga desserts, for example, mas mabuti kung na-avoid natin yon because wala talaga yung nutritional value sa ating katawan. At alam nyo ba kung ano yung pinakamasama sa lahat? For the longest time, sinabing masama or tawag nating demonization, parang ginawang demon yung mga taba at yung mga karne. To think for the longest time sa ating history ay natural para sa ating mga tao ang kumakain ng animal meat products. At hindi natural sa atin ang parating kumain ng tinapay, ang kumain ng processed foods, especially ng fast foods. Yun yung hindi natural sa atin. And then, how come all of a sudden, sinasabing masama para sa atin yung animal meat products? So, that is actually not true when it comes to evolutionary nutrition. Yes, merong mga studies, merong mga research na nagsasabi na hindi ngayon masama, na hindi ngayon healthy para sa ating pangangatawan. But mind you, yung mga research na yon, usually, kumakain sila ng maraming meat Pero kasabay nito ng marami ding carbohydrates kasi yun nga yung nakasanayan ng mundo. Para sa mga Pinoy, it's usually the rice. Sa mga puti naman, it's usually the potato, mashed potato, o di kaya bread, wheat bread. O sa Europe naman, pasta. Di ba? Mahilig sila sa pasta doon. Or corn products. Those are still carbohydrates. That's why, yung lifespan sa mundo ngayon is mostly hindi talaga tumatagal beyond 100. Konti-konti lang yung mga lugar na nag-go beyond 100. And maraming factors yan. Pero, yung isang importante doon, kung merong mang common sa mga lugar na matataas yung lifespan, is yung avoidance nila of simple sugar. Some of them might eat carbs also, pero complex carbohydrates yon. And complex carbohydrates, ina-avoid natin yan or sa tawag natin, nasa caution list natin yan when it comes to low carb. Kasi nga, we can accommodate that only if our body is also healthy to start with. Pero kung kailangan mo pang mag-heal, meron ka pang ongoing inflammation, nanghihina ka, o di kaya marami kang nararamdamang masakit. So, that is an indication na kailangan mag-rest muna kayo sa inyong pagkain ng maraming inflammatory foods. So, merong tuko dito. Buti na lang hindi ko siya nakikita kasi takot na takot ako sa tuko. And yes, meron pong nagsasabi, meron dito. Sabi ni Glenn, 20 years na meron akong diabetes. Sabi nga ng doktor ko, habang buhay na gamutan at yung kidney ko, may mga protein na ako nilalabas. Now, it's magic. So, si Glenn yung sabi niyan ha, hindi ako. Pero yes, marami na po kayong merong success stories when it comes to healing from diabetes. And ngayon nga, science is changing. Meron ng mga definition ngayon with the Diabetes Association Worldwide na merong bagay na tinatawag nating remission na in a year na kapag wala ka ng iniinom na gamot and you maintain your blood sugar na controlled, HbA1c na normal, FBS na normal, daily blood sugar na monitoring na normal without medications, but tamang pagkontrol lang sa pagkain, you are said to be diabetes on remission. So, there is hope. Merong pag-asa. Yung iba lang, it's like their choice. Ginusto nila na hindi sila mag-change ng kanilang lifestyle. So, kanya-kanya yan. We are not forcing anyone. But we are here to help educate yung mga taong gusto talagang itry yung lifestyle change na tinatawag. Kasi sa lahat ng lifestyle diseases, actually, number one sa algorithm ng management is actually lifestyle change, dietary modification. Kaya nga lang, kung paano gawin yung specific na dietary modification, doon tayo nagkakaiba ng pananaw. Kasi nga, for example, in our med school, nung nag-aral kami when it comes to nutrition, mostly, yung pinagtututukan namin is just the vitamins and minerals, kung saan sila ng kinakailangan ng ating katawan at kung ano yung common sources. Pero kung paano talaga ma-maximize yung nutrition when it comes to healing, hindi yun namin napag-aralan. That's why my own learning when it comes to nutrition is more on personal research. As you all know, yung specialty ko, hindi related sa nutrition, hindi related sa lifestyle. I am a head and neck surgeon and will specialize soon on facial plastic surgery. So, yun talaga yung plano ko ever since nagsimula ako maging doktor, maging facial plastic surgeon. Mahilig kasi akong magpaganda ng mga bagay-bagay. So, why not mag-facial plastic? So, ibang usapan naman yan. But generally, yung nutrition, it's more on my personal research, personal advocacy, coming from a family of diabetics. So, yung lolo ko namatay ng diabetes, yung papa ko namatay ng diabetes, yung mga tito ko namatay ng diabetes. Yung lola ko on my father's side is still alive but with type 3 diabetes. Ano yung type 3 diabetes? So, type 3 diabetes is actually Alzheimer's disease. Yun yung bagong kinocoin nilang term na yung Alzheimer's daw is a type 3 diabetes because it's the intolerance of sugar ng ating brain. Kapag parati tayo nagpo-fuel on sugar, our brain, hindi siya magandang mag-function. So, nagkakaroon ito ng problems. So, that's why, when it comes to brain health, it's actually good to really do low carb. And with low carb, ini-eliminate natin yung sugar, pinapataasan natin ating protein intake, and even our fat intake. But, hindi pwedeng mataas silang lahat. Hindi pwedeng mataas yung carbs, mataas yung proteins, mataas din yung fats. Because that would be overnutrition. And overnutrition or nasobrahan sa pagkain is still malnutrition. Akala natin yung malnutrition is yung mga butot balat lang. No. Actually, mas marami ngayong namamatay sa pandemic na mga overweight. And mind you, hindi tayo nagba-body shame. We are not body shaming. But we are helping those who want to improve their health by first ensuring na tama yung kanilang weight because a normal weight has lesser risk as compared to an overweight individual. But a normal weight doesn't mean you are already very healthy because hindi lang nga weight yung ating pinagbabasehan dito. There are other more and better gauges of health tulad ng abdominal girth. So, kung hindi nyo man gustong bumaba yung inyong timbang, at least make sure na yung inyong abdominal girth o yung waist niyo sa inyong pusod, okay, should be less than 1/2 of your height. So, kung 60 inches kayo, so yung mga 5 flat dyan, 5 foot flat dyan yung inyong height, make sure na ang inyong bewang o inyong waistline is not beyond 30 inches. At saka hindi yung waist na nasa pants nyo lang ha, kasi minsan hindi yan totoo. Better check talaga yung sa pusod na level. So what else can we do to improve our health? Sunlight, sun exposure. Alam nyo bang sobrang swerte yung nasa Pilipinas and sa tropical countries na meron tayong sun exposure? Kasi alam nyo, even in cold countries, mas kinukulang talaga sila ng vitamin D. Vitamin D is a fat-soluble na vitamins. Kapag parati kang naka-high carb, your body will tend to create more cholesterol than vitamin D. But if you are on low carb and you prioritize fats and proteins sa inyong pagkain, plus you have at least 15 minutes of sun exposure, you are bound to activate vitamin D. So, ang vitamin D, prerequisite niyan, hindi lang basta sun exposure, pero kasabay na din is intake of good fats. Okay? So, dapat may good fats din. Kasi dun din tayo kumukuha ng raw material. Just like, kailangan natin ng proteins o yung muscles ng karne to get amino acids so that those amino acids na manggagaling sa karneng kinakain natin will also give us the same amino acids para gawing muscles natin sa ating katawan. So our body need to break that down in order for us to create something like that. Gets? Klaro po ba? So yun. And just like the fat-soluble vitamins A, D, E, and K na kailangan natin for our immune system. Kailangan natin to make sure na hindi tayo magkakaroon ng clotting, hindi mamumuo yung mga magbabara yung ugat natin sa katawan, and meron tayong magandang eyesight, at wala tayong difficulty in combating infections, at yung ating hormone sa katawan ay intact, yun ay actually nangangailangan ng magandang sources of good fats. At ano yung mga good fat sources natin? The more natural, the better. So, the most natural and the most abundant for us to consume is actually the animal meat products. So, hindi kailangan matakot sa karne. Hindi kailangan matakot sa seafood. Hindi kailangan matakot sa baboy even. Basta't alam nyo kung ano yung inyong iiwasan. Kung hindi nyo man magawa pang umiwas ng kanin, at least bawasan. Kung hindi nyo man maiwasan yung tinapay, at least wag na kayong mag-soft drinks. So, little habits lang. Little habits that you can form. Okay? Kung hindi nyo man maiwasan yung soft drinks, at least wag na kayong mag-dessert. O di kaya wag na kayong mag-candy. O wag na mag-rice. So, wag lahat-lahat nandyan. So, panglima na. Yung iba, irregular yung shape. Hindi ko alam kung paano ko ito i-wrap. Sige, try lang natin. So, what else can we do? Eliminate sugar. Eliminate carbs kung kaya. And then, the next thing that you have to eliminate are the bad oils or bad fats. So, ano yung bad fats? Bad fats, seed oils mostly. So, basta mga oils na processed na, yung hindi galing sa natural na oil. And mind you, ang taba ng baboy ay natural oil actually. So, others that are not natural, sunflower oil, even sesame oil, soybean oil, ano pa ba? We also have canola oil, yung mga vegetable oil, hindi rin actually yan natural. Kasi nga, kung titingnan mo, yung vegetable alone, yung mga soybean, di ba, sobrang tigas nun. Hindi yung natural oil talaga. The natural oil are the ones oily by nature. So, para pinakamadali, no-brainer, coconut oil. Okay, coconut oil is the healthiest, is one of the safest cooking oil that you can have. Kung meron kayong available source ng taba ng baka o taba ng baboy for cooking, that is actually even better. Mas maganda yon. Pero kapag sinasabi nating maganda yon, dapat klaro tayo ha. We are always clear that it is under low carb. Hindi applicable yung sinasabi nating okay yung taba ng baboy, pero kumakain pa rin kayo ng kanin, kumakain pa rin kayo ng tinapay na regular, hindi yung low carb na tinapay. So, iba yon. So, wag niyong i-distort yung ating truth dito. Okay? Walang ganyanan. Dapat clear tayong lahat. Okay? And when it comes to other oils, avoid margarine. Okay? Always choose butter. Kung mahal ang butter, huwag na lang bumili. Hindi rin naman essential yan. Wag tayong lumabas sa ating budget kung hindi kaya. Okay? Sa mga nagsasabing yung low carb ay para lang sa mayayaman o kaya sa mga nakaka-afford, that's not true. Pwedeng mag-low carb kahit sino. Pwede kayong magtanim ng gulay sa inyong bakuran, bumili ng itlog, bumili ng isda, kumain ng kalahating kilong isda. Merong isda na mga maliliit. Nasa 30 pesos lang, 50 pesos lang per kilo. So kahit ubusin mo yung kalahating kilo niyan, sabihin na nating 60 per kilo. Okay? Or 70 per kilo. So 35 pesos half kilo. And then magtanim ng gulay, maghanap. For sure, merong alugbate, malunggay, kangkong, o kung anumang mga talbos na dahon ng kung ano-ano dyan na pwede nyo makuha for free. Bumili ng isa, 2 itlog. That's how much? Less than 50 pesos. Pwede na yan. Kung gusto nyo ng good sources of fats, yung gagamitin yung oil, dalawang kutsara ng oil, that can already be okay. So, hindi talaga kailangang mahal. Nasa diskarte lang yan. If there is a will, there is a way. What else can we do to improve our health na libre? Okay? Exercise. At kung hindi man kayang mag-exercise na nasa gym talaga, so, wag na. Kayang-kaya lang yung home exercises. Yes, Dennis Daniel, olive oil is also healthy. But the healthy olive oil, be careful kasi marami na ngayong fake olive oil. So make sure kapag bibili kayo ng olive oil, yung nasa dark yung bottle, either black or dark green, yung bottle ng olive oil because yun ay extra virgin olive oil. And extra virgin olive oil are protected yung kaniyang nutrients niya by that dark pigment para hindi ito ma-expose sa light. Because when it is already exposed to light, pwedeng mag-denature or mawala yung kanyang mga essential elements na nandyan. So, yung best olive oil is the one that is in dark container and yung totoo talagang EVOO, extra virgin. Kasi nga marami nang nagpe-fake ngayon. Kapag tiningnan nyo kung meron ng cooking olive oil, usually blended na yan. O di kaya hindi refined na siya. So somewhat that is still okay, at least a little better than the vegetable oil, pero hindi mo na ma-maximize yung mga vitamins and minerals and the other antioxidants na benefits ng olive oil. Pero I understand na merong mga lugar na mas mura yung olive oil kesa sa coconut oil. So, yes, of course, you can just use that. Pero yun lang, just be mindful na you are not getting all the benefits. Okay? But that is an option. It is still a lot better as compared to other seed oils na iniiwasan natin sa low carb. Okay? So, exercise. The things that we can learn in this pandemic when it comes to exercise. Hindi rin kailangan mag-gym. Hindi kailangan bumili ng grabe na mga equipments. Kahit mag-planking ka lang, 10 minutes a day, malaki na magagawa nun. Wala ka nang kailangang equipment, just your weight. Okay? But if you want to have targeted approach, like gusto nyo magpa-muscles, gusto nyo meron kayong ilulose na fats on certain areas, make sure na when you exercise, dapat fat adapted kayo. Anong ibig sabihin ng fat adapted? Sanay na kayo sa low carb. Hindi yung ngayon yung ipagsasabay nyo yung inyong pag-change ng inyong diet and at the same time, mag-exercise kayo. So, Joel, palm oil is somewhat similar to coconut oil by chemical structure. Pero, when it comes to production, hindi maganda yung palm oil sa ating kalikasan. So, since we are gearing towards sustainability, kasi nga, hindi lang naman tayo yung naninirahan sa mundo, marami ding ibang living things dito, we have to consider the greater whole. So, that's why, kung pwede lang, we limit or we avoid palm oil. Pero for you, kung yun lang talaga yung available sa inyo, so just know na hindi naman siya nakakasama sa katawan. Palm oil is okay when it comes to our health, but it might not be a good oil when it comes to our nature. Kasi hindi maganda yung nagagawa ng industry ng palm oil sa kalikasan. And kung meron man kayong palm oil na gagamitin, meron pala yung pulp or seed. So yung pulp, yung sa bunga talaga, yung seed naman, yung sa buto. So the healthier one is the pulp. The one na yung nasa fruit talaga ng palm. Hindi yung nasa seed. Because the seed will still undergo also too much processing, heat processing, that is no longer healthy for us all. So, sa buhay ko, minsan lang ako nag-gym. There was this one time during med school, na sumama ako sa aking kaibigan pumunta ng gym. And then, try lang. It was just one day. Parang na-excite ako that time. Akala ko yun na yung magbabago sa aking buhay. I paid for the whole month of gym membership. Kumuha pa ako ng locker at lahat-lahat. Akala ko yun ang simula ng pagbabago ng aking buhay. Until the next day, hindi na rin ako bumalik. So, I realized na I am more on physical activity na efficient, on time, without taking so much effort on my part na kailangan pa akong pumunta ng ibang lugar, mag-prepare ng aking outfit o kung ano man. Wala akong time sa ganyan. But for those na merong time sa ganyan, I am proud of you and I'm happy na ganyan kayo. Sometimes a part of me wish na sana ganyan din ako, but maybe in another lifetime na lang, no? Or in another time. Baka darating din sa akin yan. For now, I'm okay with my, tawag natin doon, purposeful movement. So, hindi man siya ganon ka formal exercise na meron talagang equipment, but you just don't avoid mobility. Kung meron kayong gustong puntahan, kung kaya nyong lakarin nyo na lang. Kung kaya nyong mag-stairs lang at hindi gumamit ng escalator o elevator, gawin nyo na lang yon. Kung kaya nyong kayong pumunta doon at wag na kayong mag-utos, pwede nyong gawin yon. Kung kaya nyong buhatin, wag na kayong mag-utos ng ibang tao para buhatin yung mga bagay-bagay, okay? You become more independent and you become self-reliant at hindi nyo kailangang umasa sa ibang tao. You can just be on your own and at the same time, you are burning calories in the right places. So, for 8, pag 8 na tayo, this is, okay. 4 na lang kasi wala na tayong wrapper. What else can we learn? Kung hindi man kayo makakain ng tawag nating nutrient-dense foods, yung healthiest foods talaga, which is mostly the ulam, the animal meat products, together with vegetables. So, low-carb vegetables. Kung hindi nyo man makakain yon, because I understand, minsan mahirap talaga. If you've been with me, especially marami sa inyo who have been with me since October, nung nagre-review ako for my exam. So, nakakulong lang ako doon. My access to food is very limited. So, yung mga kinakain ko minsan, hindi ganun ka-nutritious. But at least, kung hindi man kayo makakain ng mga masustansyang pagkain, at least man lang, hindi nyo pinupuno yung tiyan nyo ng mga junk foods. Okay? Kung meron kayong bibilhin, meron niyang lesser evil, kumbaga. Okay? Hindi yung mataas na nga sa bad fats, mataas pa sa sugar, mataas pa sa mga seasoning, yung mga tawag nating nakaka-crave, nakakadulot ng unnecessary cravings sa atin. So it disrupts our brain. Hindi siya actually maganda sa ating mental health because it will produce cravings sa atin na hindi na natural. So, choose at least kung hindi man siya ganon ka-nutritious, at least hindi rin siya ganon ka-damaging. Okay? So, avoid junk foods. Majority of the junk foods are the chips, no? Chips, and then yung soft drinks, yung mga chichirya talaga. Especially yung mga malulutong. Hindi ko alam kung saan nanggaling yung natural liking ng mga tao sa mga malulutong. Hindi ko alam kung saan yun nag-originate. Maybe it has something to do with chewing. Kasi natural para sa atin to love moving our jaw, to chew, and the crunch, para siyang nakaka-satisfy. But if you want crunch, you can eat nuts. So, meron ako mga nuts dito. Papakita ko sa inyo. Meron akong macadamia. So, merong Brazil. So, malulutong yan. Meron akong seaweed. Hindi ko pa nakabuksan. So, seaweed, pang snacks lang. At meron ako nakita. Use this one. Mushroom. Mushroom crisp. Okay? So, yung kanyang lutong is actually very malutong. Pero, kung iisipin mo, yung lasa niya nung una, parang i-question mo kung pagkain ba to o kahoy. Kasi parang hindi siya pagkain. Okay? So, yes, you can find low-carb alternatives for those crunch na hinahanap-hanap ninyo. But you have to be mindful also. Kasi if you keep on craving them, then it could be an addicting food. It's highly processed. So yan, kahit yan, those are already in our caution list kasi nga, processed na sila kahit they are under low carb. And the nuts also, kasi hindi sila raw nuts. Mga roasted na sila. Although they are just lightly dry roasted in salt. Asin lang yung kanilang seasoning. So, but still, kapag ganyan na, take them with caution. So, ngayon nga, hindi ako nakakain. So, hindi ako araw-araw kumain yan. But I just like them there, na nandyan lang sila within my reach. So, yes, even for those with cerebral palsy and nerve problems, ma'am, Ma'am Sarah. Ma'am Sarah ba yun? Sino yun si Ma'am Sarah? Si Ma'am Cynthia? Yes. Hindi po nakakapayat yung low carb kapag ginawa nyo ito ng tama. I suggest you join our low carb and fasting masterclass ng for health optimization para at least meron kayong basic knowledge kung paano gawin yung low carb na hindi kayo mangangayayat o hindi papayat ng husto yung anak ninyo, because low carb is not for weight loss, but it is for normalization of weight. Kung payat, pwedeng magkaroon ng enough muscle bulk. Kung mataba, pwedeng mawala yung taba, and you optimize yung weight na tama talaga para sa inyo. Hindi yung gusto mo lang, but it's the weight actually that is really good for your physique, kung saan kayo magno-normalize. So yes, it's not for weight loss, but it's for normalization of weight. So, what else can we do aside from making sure na meron tayong enough mobility, enough movement, hindi lang exercise. Of course, if you can incorporate exercise, biking, all the more, all the better. Mas maganda yan if nakadevelop na kayo ng kanyang habit ngayong pandemic. That's the best. And also, sunlight. So, 15 to 20 minutes of direct sun exposure every day. Huwag matakot umitim. It's okay. Kung ayaw nyo naman, so just 15 minutes. But you embrace your color. Huwag na tayong mag-whitening pa. Okay? Alam nyo ba mas mataas yung risk ng cancer ng mga puti compared sa mga brown skin? Yeah? Caucasians have the higher the skin class, yung pinakamaputi talaga, mas maputi, mas mataas yung risk for cancer. Kaya nga, like in Australia, meron talaga silang Center for Skin Cancers kasi yun yung pinakauso doon. Sa Pilipinas, ano yung uso dito? Tuberculosis. TB yung uso dito because marami sa atin yung hindi talaga ganon kalakas yung ating immune system. Kaya natatamaan yung TB. So, yung TB, tuberculosis, is everywhere in the Philippines. Pero hindi lahat nagiging biktima ng TB. Kasi nga, yung immunocompromised lang. Yung hindi matatag yung immune system, yung natatamaan nun. So, common among elderlies. So, kapag meron kayong chronic cough, yung mga yung mga ganon-ganon lang, and then yung parang nilalagnat kayo kung gabi lang, try to have it checked. Libre lang naman sa TB dots. Every municipality in the Philippines meron center for TB. Tawag doon TB dots. TB, DOTS. Libre ang magpakonsulta doon, and then magpa-check ng baga, x-ray, and also sputum exam. yung magluluwal kayo and examine. So, try to make sure na wala kayong ganyan. And of course, another tip, so food, elimination of the wrong foods, increasing intake of the good food, and then also avoiding the junk food, increasing your sun exposure, increasing your physical activity through exercise or purposeful movement, and elimination of stress. Okay? So, try to think every night. Isipin ninyo kung ano yung nakakapagpa-stress sa inyo. Which part of your day na you feel like you felt bad or you felt something negative, kung meron. And if ever meron, try to consider how you can eliminate that. Kung pwede nyo itong ma-eliminate or kung pwede itong baguhin. And kung hindi nyo pa alam how to go about it, just pray on it. Just pray on paano ko ito mai-improve. Yun lang. Or sasabihin nyo, mas mabuti sana kung maging positive yung negative na senaryong ito. Or if it involves a person, if you can pray na sana maging mas positive yung aking relationship or dealing with this person, especially when it comes to the people na very much embedded in our lives, like our family members. So, you pray on it and you will just see the answer will be given. Actually, darating lang yan. But you have to pray for it. You have to know kung meron kayong stressors, you acknowledge, and then you pray that it will be dealt with. It will be over. It will be improved. And hopefully, darating yung araw na when you recall your day, if meron kayong iisipin, if there was a time that you felt bad or negative, yung wala na kayong maaalala. So you know that it's doing good. Or, one way to check also, if ever after a full day, especially yung mga nasa Pilipinas na ngayon, bago kayo matulog, when you close your eyes, try to think if there are people that you need to forgive, na kailangan yung i-forgive, and you just forgive them. Hindi nyo kailangang kung ano-ano pang isipin o magkaroon pa kayo ng kondisyon for you to forgive them. Just forgive them. Kahit hindi na yan para sa kanila, but just for you. So anyone or anything or any scenario na you felt a little negative during the day, by night time, you think of them and you forgive them. And eventually, slowly, you will just surprise yourself na noon, nung nagsimula kayo ng habit na ganito, if ever hindi nyo pa nagawa, marami kayong kailangan i-forgive. Kasi maraming mga tao or scenario or instances na kailangan kayong magpatawad. But eventually, you will realize that your life is starting to get better when you no longer need to forgive so many people and so many scenarios. And that's the time that you can see that everything's doing better sa buhay ninyo. So I hope there will come a day na when you recall your day, you will no longer need to forgive anyone because nobody ever made you feel bad or unpleasant or made you feel any discomfort. Instead, yung mararamdaman nyo lang is just gratitude. Yung sobrang dami nyo lang pasasalamatan. So, instead of that, okay, you give thanks. So, that's also one way to improve stress sa buhay. You forgive everything and everyone, and you also give gratitude. Always magpasalamat. Kahit gaano pa grabe yung nangyari, kahit pa na tamaan pa kayo ng bagyo, kahit pa marami pang nawala sa inyong livelihood or properties or kung ano man yung napagdaanan, meron pa rin tayong dapat pasalamatan. We don't lose hope. And we don't lose focus na despite anything and everything na nangyayari, we always have something to be grateful for. kung hindi man yan yung buhay mismo natin, yung safety natin, the fact that we are still breathing, the fact that we are still watching right now is actually something to be thankful for. So, kahit pa natatakot ako sa tuko na yan, but pasalamat ako na hindi ko siya nakikita because it will be much scary kung nakikita ko siya. So, in any situation, meron tayong pwedeng pasalamatan. And of course, gratitude, kailangan yan. And you consider how you can improve your day-to-day and maximize your day. With the pandemic, nakita natin na pwede palang magtrabaho at home, na pwede pala tayong mabuhay, na tayo lang yung nagluluto sa bahay, hindi kailangan mag-rely sa pagkain sa labas. Mabubuhay pala tayo ng walang regular malling or kung anumang mga external sources. So the pandemic actually helped us see na pwede tayong mag-survive without so many things na akala natin before ay essential sa ating buhay. Now we can see na yung essential ay kakaunti lang talaga. So we have to reassess kung ano yung essential sa ating pamumuhay to improve our health. And last part, so recap tayo, when it comes to nutrition, avoid foods that are not good for you, increase the food that are good for you, increase your sun exposure. Importante talaga yung vitamin D. Sobrang importante. Also, you do purposeful movement for physical activity, either exercise or just do task. Buti na lang nauso yung mga plantito at plantita ngayon. At least they do some gardening and other tasks. At hello pala sa mga pasyente ko na pasyente rin ng ibang doktor na sila mismo ay pinatanggal na ng kanilang primary doctors, ng kanilang cardio, endo, yung kanilang maintenance sa high blood, yung kanilang maintenance sa diabetes because after they followed low carb, natural nang bumaba ang kanilang blood sugar, natural nang bumaba ang kanilang blood pressure, and na-maintain nila ito even without intake of medications after proper adjustment. So, proper adjustment, I encourage you to join our low carb and fasting masterclass for diabetes, for hypertension, for fatty liver, or kung ano man ang inyong lifestyle disease na nandyan. Usually, meron kaming live masterclass for that. So, last part, after the elimination of stress or stress management sa buhay, is proper sleep. Okay? So, have ample amount of sleep. You have to know kung ano yung sleeping pattern that will work best for you. Hindi lahat early bird. Yun yung totoo. Hindi talaga lahat ay mag-thrive on waking up early. Merong mga taong katulad ko na hindi talaga swak sa early morning. So, that's why gising pa ako ngayon and I'm starting to make use of my time na nagla-live tayo at the same time I'm wrapping gifts. So, wala na akong wrapper. And I was able to create this one. 1, 2, 4, 6, 8, and yay! 12 packs of gifts. So, nakarap tayo ng 12 gifts. And when it comes to sleep, you have to know kung ano yung sleep cycle na babagay sa inyo, kung ano yung sleep pattern that you can work well for your health, for your overall functioning na you can sustain, and also para makatrabaho pa rin kayo. You can still be productive. Because if your work is in the morning talaga, so you really have to get up. So ako, I usually schedule my operation in the afternoon and yung mga clinic ko naman, kung meron akong i-cover, 9 o'clock yung earliest. Kasi hindi talaga ako early bird. So I usually get my 7.5 to 9 hours of sleep at night. Kailangan yon. Kung sa mga nangangailangan ng support, good thing, meron namang mga supplements that can help you aid sleep na natural lang. If you wish to know more, nandyan yan sa ating Low Carb and Fasting Nutrition Masterclass para mas maalalayan kayo at para mas magabayan kayo ng mabuti so that when you do low carb, you do it right the first time. But if you don't want to join, okay lang din. You can instead watch our videos in YouTube. Usually, na-discuss na natin lahat dyan. And for added support, you can join Life Without Rice for food inspirations ng walang rice. And Low Carb Feasting and Fasting Community naman sa mga tanong. Okay? So, seaweed, yes, it's okay. It's low carb. It's good na hindi ka nagsasnack, Toto. Si Toto Hamandre Biso, because snacks are really not essential. So usually, yung mga nuts ko, hindi ko sila snacks. Para ko silang light dinner minsan. Or kung I'm in a hurry or gutom na ako at tapos hindi pa ako sa lugar na makakain ako ng tama, ng properly. So those are my opening or closing. So usually I eat only once a day na proper heavy meal and I only have light meal to close or to open my food. So usually yun yung mga nuts and seeds and yun, mushroom, seaweeds, mga ganon-ganon. So thank you everyone sa inyong pagsabay sa ating gabi. So, end of the month, is it okay to donate while fasting? So, when you donate, you just do what your usual task is, what your usual routine is. Kung sanay na kayo mag-fasting on 16 hours, on 12 hours, that's okay. But when it comes to donating blood, you have to make sure na tama yung inyong blood pressure, huwag sobrang baba, and you are hydrating well. Anyway, they give naman parang refreshments or you can bring your own like electrolyte drinks para hindi kayo mahilo because usually kapag nagdo-donate pwede kayong mahilo especially kapag naka low carb if mababa na yung inyong blood pressure. I had an episode of that way back 2014 yung inoperahan yung brother ko ng open heart surgery for a congenital and rheumatic heart disease. So kailangan kami ng 10 bags and we also donated blood to raise funds because every blood donation ata pwedeng magpumaltas ng 2,000 pesos sa bill namin sa hospital. So I donated kahit hindi kami magka-blood type. But that was a very bad experience because sobrang baba yung blood pressure ko at nahilo ako ng bonggang-bongga the next day na akala ko mamamatay na ako. Because my BP is generally sobrang baba na to start with. So you just have to be careful and make sure you hydrate well when you donate blood. Okay? So I think we are done for tonight sa second Christmas natin this pandemic. I hope you are doing better as compared to last year. And I hope you will do well in the coming year with better health, with the better mindset, and with, of course, tamang-tamang pag-lifestyle change, and hopefully kasama na rin yung mga mahal nyo sa buhay. So, okay lang po yung air fryer. Pero kung walang air fryer, okay lang din. So, I encourage you to look at our food list. Meron tayong JGC Rojo food list. Ilalagay ko dito for you to see. So, JGC Rojo food list. And hope you will stick to our safe list para mas safe tayo. But for those with autoimmune diseases, anong mga autoimmune diseases? Allergies, asthma, yung mga immune system diseases, psoriasis, ulcerative colitis, thyroid problems, yung mga rheumatic problems, rheumatic heart disease, and even kidneys like nephrotic syndrome, yung mga parating pagkakaroon ng myasthenia gravis, multiple sclerosis, marami actually. Halos lahat ng ating organs, including adult onset na type 1 diabetes, those can still be under diseases of the immune system na nag-aapekto na ng endocrine system. And you can benefit from food elimination protocol na we discuss in our autoimmune, allergy, inflammation, arthritis, and Infection and Diseases of the Immune System Masterclass. If you wish to know more, message nyo lang po yung ating admins in LCF Masterclass by Josephine Grace, Chua Rojo MD. And to start, you can look at our JGC Rojo food list. Try to look at the safe list. At kapag hindi pa rin kayo nag-i-improve with just the general safe list sa list na yan, then maybe you need to even do some other kinds of elimination to really look into the foods that are safe for others but might not be safe for you. So, detalye yan. It's a long process, but it's something that you can stick with. And so far, so many others are improving their health already. So I think that's the best way to go about it. Remove refined sugar, remove processed foods, try to avoid fast foods as much as you can. Kung magpa-fast food man, try to remove the high carb, high fat combinations of fast food. Kung chicken joy na lang. Kung mag-burger, wala na yung buns, just the patty and the cheese and the lettuce and the tomato. But of course, if gusto mo mag-burger, gawa na lang kayo. 2 kilos ground beef, 1 kilo ground pork, or walang ground pork kung hindi kayo kumakain ng baboy, and half or 1 kilo of beef liver. You also ground it, kumpul-kumpulin, lagyan ng salt, pwedeng lagyan ng pepper. Voila! Meron na kayong 100% meat patty na already nutrient dense. At madali pang i-prepare. You can prepare it enough for 1 week or kung marami kayo, for a few days. But at least you don't need to prepare so many foods all at once. Yan, kapag meron na kayong ganyang staple sa inyong ref, kayang-kaya nyo siyang i-prepare in just 10 minutes. At meron na kayong very easy meal. So, wala nang excuse na sasabihin walang time mag-prepare or kung ano man. You can do food prep earlier. So, I think that's it for tonight. Maraming salamat for joining me. Have a good night, everyone. Advance Merry Christmas. And this second Christmas, this pandemic, as we go on year 3 with COVID, I hope you are going to live happily, confidently, and healthier, of course. So remember to always stay low carb so that we all stay safe. Maraming salamat po. Have a good night.